I just wanted to sand my mahogany table in peace, but I ended up with a 9-year-old apprentice and a boyfriend. 3 years ago, I bought a small fixer-upper in the suburbs. I'm 31, fiercely independent, and I spend almost every evening in my garage, covered in sawdust. I restore mid-century modern furniture. It's quiet, predictable, and it keeps me from having to socialize. Then Mark and his daughter Mia moved in right across the street. Mark looked like he walked straight out of a flannel catalog. 34, constantly exhausted, but clearly doing his best to keep up with his incredibly energetic 9-year-old. I gave them the standard neighborly wave, fully intending that to be the beginning and end of our interaction. But life had other plans. About a month later, I was using my orbital sander when I noticed a shadow in the driveway. I turned it off, and there was Mia. She was holding a completely shattered wooden birdhouse. Silently crying, she whispered. My dad tried to fix it with super glue, but he made it worse. He said, "You have real tools." I glanced across the street. Mark stood on his porch, giving me an apologetic, helpless shrug. He was definitely watching. I sighed, wiped my hands, and told her to grab a stool. I didn't just fix it. I showed her how to do it properly, how to use wood glue, how to clamp the pieces together, how to sand the edges smooth. She didn't say much, but her eyes followed every move I made. When we finished, she smiled, and it lit up the entire dusty garage. 2 days later, she came back, this time with a wobbly dining chair. By the second month, Mia had her own pair of safety goggles hanging on my pegboard. She stopped bringing just broken things. She wanted to build. We started small. Picture frames, storage boxes, simple projects. Mark would come by to pick her up and lean casually against my workbench. We started talking. At first, it was just small talk, weather, annoying HOA rules, but slowly it became more. He was a high school history teacher, smart, thoughtful, with a dry, sarcastic humor that caught me completely off guard. He never made fun of what I did, and he wasn't intimidated by the fact that I owned more power tools than he did. Eventually, those workbench conversations turned into Friday night pizza in my driveway. He brought the food, I brought the lawn chairs, Mia ran around catching fireflies, and somehow, it all started to feel like home. Around month 5, something changed. Mia came over one afternoon, dragging her feet. She looked defeated. When I asked what was wrong, she said some girls at school were making fun of her hands because they were rough, covered in calluses and splinters. They told her woodworking was for boys. Something in me snapped. I looked her straight in the eye and said, "Mia, the people who build things are the ones who change the world. Never let anyone make you feel bad for having capable hands." That weekend, I let her design her own cedar bookshelf. When Mark tried to pay me for the wood, I refused. I told him I had leftover materials. He looked at me for a moment and said, "You're a terrible liar, but an incredibly good person." The real turning point happened last week. It was Father's Day weekend, and Mia's school was hosting a My Hero showcase. Mark invited me to come. I assumed she had written about him. But when we walked into the gym and saw her project board, I froze. Right in the center was a photo of me and Mia in my garage, covered in sawdust, laughing. The title read, "The Architect of My Heart." She had written about how I taught her that broken things aren't trash. They just need patience and the right tools to become beautiful again. She wrote that I didn't just teach her how to fix wood, I taught her how to be strong. I had to walk out into the hallway because I was crying so hard. Mark followed me. He didn't say anything. He just gently backed me against the wall, looked at me with those soft, tired eyes, and kissed me. It wasn't rushed. It was intentional. When he pulled away, he whispered, "She's right, you know. You fixed us." And now, I'm standing in my bathroom, trying to figure out how to do my makeup for our first official date tonight. I'm terrified, because for the first time in my life, I'm building something without a blueprint, and I want it to last forever.